who cannot be named for legal reasons, allegedly drove the suspects from Limpopo to Gauteng just a few days after the break-in at President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm. Emanuela David, along with siblings Froliana and Ndilinasho Joseph, are currently on trial for the crime in Limpopo. In a statement given to police, the driver initially claimed he was paid $30,000 in cash by the alleged robbers, but when testifying in court, he changed the figure to 7,000 rand. This discrepancy led the state to apply for Section 189 of the Criminal Procedure Act to be invoked against its own witness. This section deals with uncooperative witnesses and can result in a fine or direct imprisonment. In making his ruling today, Magistrate Peter Mantade said there was no basis to conclude that the witness had been uncooperative.
There are no basis to declare Mr. recalcitrant witness. The fact that his viva voce evidence may contradict what is contained in the statement he made to the police does not mean he is not cooperating as envisaged in Section 189, subsection 1 of the Act.
We shift our focus to this now. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has indicated it will not respond to queries on whether it reached out to Natim Tetto to appear as a witness before the commission. South Africa's ambassador to France was found dead at a hotel in Paris yesterday. Investigations surrounding the circumstances of his death are still ongoing. In his testimony 2 weeks ago, KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accused Tetto of politically interfering in policing matters in 2011 when he was still police minister. Mkhwanazi claimed Tetto blocked a move to criminally charge former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli, who stands accused of abusing his powers and misusing the Secret Service account. Madlanga Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels would not be drawn to comment on this matter.
We're not going to be commenting at all about Ambassador Tetto's passing, except to say that we pass our sincere condolences to his family.
Meanwhile, the Commission is not sitting today after its key witness, crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo, left the venue due to ill health. We move now to the Western Cape, where police are executing a large-scale search and seizure operation at 26 locations across Cape Town. It follows allegations of fraud and corruption involving municipal contracts to the approximate value of 1.6 billion rand, the police's Andre Trout.
The targeted addresses include municipal offices, private homes of officials, and business premises linked to service providers.
Trout says the intervention follows information received from a whistleblower and the subsequent preliminary investigations conducted by both the City of Cape Town as well as police.
The operation, which stems from whistleblower information and preliminary investigations, is aimed at securing crucial evidence to establish the scope of alleged irregularities.
And in the Philippines, authorities have warned that the death toll from a powerful 6.9 magnitude earthquake may rise as search and rescue operations continue. In the latest figures, 69 people have been confirmed dead, while dozens have been injured. The province of Cebu, which suffered the brunt of the damage, declared a state of calamity earlier today. The earthquake comes just a week after the country was hit by back-to-back typhoons, which killed more than a dozen people. The local authorities have now appealed for volunteers with medical experience to help deal with the injuries. Gold is trading at $3,858.47 an ounce. The rand is at 17.28 to the dollar, 23.21 to the pound, 20.26 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.22 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving Alexandra heading towards Midrand, there's slow-moving traffic. This is in the Calvin area on the N3 northbound between Marlborough Drive and the Patlu interchange. Also in Devlin, traveling towards Eldorado Park, roadwork still causing delays. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue.
Gauteng is partly cloudy this afternoon. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 26 degrees, while Cape Town is cloudy with isolated showers, along with a fresh northwesterly wind at a high of 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. EFF leader Julius Malema has announced his intention to appeal a court ruling which found him guilty of discharging a firearm in public.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. 702 on 92.7 and 106 FM.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app
And on DSTV channel 856.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking.
Walking this talk together.
Every hour.
Every day. This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Hello and good afternoon. I'm Jane Dutton. I'm in for Mandy. It's good to be with you. What a day to be doing this show. Julius Malema has been found guilty in the firearms case. So what happens next and what does it mean for him? Here's something intriguing. We're hearing that the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry may have wanted South Africa's ambassador to France, Tetto, to appear as a witness. As you know, his body was found near a Paris hotel and questions around the circumstances of his death are still swirling. We'll also be going to his family home in KZN. Across the Atlantic, chaos in Washington, another US government shutdown, and all of this as the AGOA trade deal expires, leaving South Africa exposed. And this might be shocking or may not, depending on your experience. Cape Town now ranks 9th in the world for traffic chaos. Imagine weeks of your lives lost sitting in other people's exhaust fumes. If you're one of those commuters, tell me how it's affecting you. And as always, your thoughts on any of today's stories are welcome. I would love to play out your thoughts. Remember to send them to us 072 702 1702.
Because this journey is better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
So maybe other than Julius Malema, at long last, we all say there's some movement in the firearms trial. Malema is accused of contravening sections of the Firearms Control Act, including the unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. Alpha Robeshwana has been sitting on that story for many days. Alpha, he's been found guilty. Tell us about the verdict.
Good afternoon, Jane. Of course, like you said, Julius Malema has been found guilty in his firearms discharge case. The court found that he contravened sections of the Firearm Control Act, specifically the unlawful possession of firearm and ammunition, which relates to a 2018 rally in Dantsane in the Eastern Cape, where he fired shots into the air near a large crowd of supporters. And in its judgment today, the East London Magistrates Court found that the state witnesses that were used during the trial were all credible, they were reliable and truthful, and had no bias or hidden motives against Julius Malema and his co-accused Adrian Snyman, who has been acquitted on all charges. On the other hand, the judge, Magistrate Dwanet Olivier, found that some of the witnesses brought in by the defense didn't necessarily do Malema justice. She says that some of the defense witnesses were argumentative and weren't answering certain questions accordingly. And she also found that Malema evaded many questions when he was on the stand, and says those questions warranted a reply, and says that those replies were rather entertaining but not necessarily giving the court insights as to what his take is on the accusations that he was facing. So let's take a listen to Malema on the witness stand during the trial a year ago when he was asked a question and how he responded.
Or do you know of anybody that fired shots at this particular stadium, apart from what we've seen here in this video?
I'm not the Holy Spirit, I won't know. If there was shots fired before I arrived, shots fired a night before, shots fired after I left, I wouldn't know. But for as long as I'm concerned, this is the only act we carried out.
So, Jane, he was asked the question by the state prosecutor, and his response was, "I'm not the Holy Spirit and I wouldn't know." And the judge says that referenced this very same clip during her judgment today, saying Malema basically shot himself in the foot by the manner in which he was answering questions during cross-examination during the trial. Let's take a listen to Magistrate Dwanet Olivier today, referencing this very same point.
Mr. Malema had evaded many questions that had warranted a reply. It became evident that the replies were entertaining, but however, the pertinent questions asked remained unanswered. He further relied on clip 3, and he had then counted 15 shots fired, and thereafter stated he cannot count, he had graduated in woodwork. Further, as to how the cartridge or the SPA 249-14 is linked to him, his reply was, was it must have been the Holy Spirit, and these type of answers did not do accused one any favors.
So, Jane, now that Malema has been convicted, the question on your mind, and I'm sure everyone else's, is whether or not Malema has intentions of appealing this judgment. Well, let's take a listen to Malema's answer to that question.
We want to take this opportunity to thank our legal team. They fought a good fight. They stood with us, and as we move forward, we are going to reinforce that legal team. We'll bring Advocate Mugai Toby as we go into the appeal and strengthen our case, because it is now beyond all of us. We need to strengthen our team and confront the system, and you need lawyers who are not scared of the system.
So no surprise there. We all suspected that he probably will play the appeal card if he is to be found guilty. He also played the race card, didn't he? And talking of bias, he accused the magistrate of bias against him.
Yeah, he, well, specifically was accusing AfriForum of bias against him. Racism rather. Accused AfriForum of racism, saying that AfriForum in filing these charges against him, it was a move that was inspired and motivated by racism. When it came to the judge, he rejected the judgment and said that she is biased. She asked why his co-accused was acquitted. Malema asked why he was acquitted, and he still has to go and come back next year for sentencing. So Malema believes that the judgment is flawed because the co-accused has effectively been let go, and Malema has been found guilty. Mind you, the co-accused is a white male. So Malema, in that case, is playing the race card, saying that why is his co-accused now acquitted, and he still has to come back in January next year and appeal the judgment.
And the supporters outside, obviously rather disappointed, but we're hearing that rallies are taking place. What are you hearing about what's going to be happening in support and otherwise for Julius Malema?
Yeah, I mean, over the past 3 days, Julius Malema has been in court. Outside the court, hundreds of his supporters were watching proceedings, listening to Malema and Malema's court proceedings. And today they came to support him as the judgment was delivered. They did not cause any disruption during the judgment. They came and listened, and after Malema was handed down that judgment, he went and addressed them and told them to remain disciplined during this time and said that he's not phased. So he did address the party supporters, a large crowd of party supporters today, and said that he will be telling them what the next step forward is soon. But so far, I guess we're going to wait for sentencing in January next year and that appeal process to begin. As you've heard in the clip, Malema plans to bring Advocate Mugai Toby. He believes that in beefing his legal team, he has a chance of winning the appeal that he's set to launch.
Alpha Ramashwana on the story that Julius Malema has been found guilty for firing a rifle.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Well, rather firing a rifle in front of thousands of supporters. Now, the Pala burglary trial took a bit of a twist today when the state prosecutor declared his own witness hostile. The driver who allegedly ferried the robbers after they stole $580,000 from President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm gave testimony that clashed with his earlier police statement. Our reporter Tabisa Goba's on this story. Tabisa, firstly, how damaging is it for the state's case when its own witness is declared hostile?
Good afternoon, Jane. I do have to say something incredible is happening inside courts here, and we will get into why I'm actually saying that. Okay. Because, as you said, this is a state's witness. This is a witness that the state has brought upon itself. Now, the last time this matter was in court, the state actually invoked Section 189 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, this is just one level shy of a hostile witness, Jane. This section actually deals with witnesses that are recalcitrant, which basically means that are uncooperative. So when the proceedings actually started today, the magistrate made a ruling on that Section 189 that was invoked by the state. And the magistrate said, while I do acknowledge that the witness's testimony is there are some discrepancies between what he told the police and what he testified in court. He is not he's not uncooperative. He has been answering those questions, and he has been sworn in. So that Section 189 doesn't actually apply to the current witness. So that is when the state's prosecutor actually moved to Section 190, which obviously declaring him a hostile witness. Now, in terms of those discrepancies, Jane, the first discrepancy is that in the police statement that the driver made, he said he was paid $30,000. Now, this translates to around just over R500,000 if you convert it. Now, in court, Jane, he said that he was paid R7,000. Now, obviously, that's a big discrepancy between R500,000 and R7,000. And the second discrepancy that he made is that in the police statement, he said that he transported accused number one from Bela Bela to Benoni, to a car dealership in Benoni in Gauteng, while in court, he actually denied that he transported accused number one. Now, this is an exchange between the state prosecutor and the witness speaking through an interpreter in court today.
And okay, just give us a little bit more about what's happening and what we can expect.
So, as I said something incredible is happening.
Yes, that's what I want to hear.
Yes. So, a second witness of the day has just taken the stand, Jane. And before I stepped out, the witness, the state prosecutor, has actually invoked Section 190 again to declare this witness a hostile witness. Now, we're not really sure what this witness actually knows, but this witness told the court, Jane, that he is illiterate and that the statement that he gave to police, he doesn't know anything about it. He can't read, he can't write. He was given a statement that he signed. So he's basically disavowing whatever statement that he made to police. So those are two state witnesses that have disavowed the previous statement that they made to police, which has forced the state's prosecutor to declare two of his witnesses as hostile. And as I said, that's why it's incredible where this case is going right now.
I'd say so. Let's leave it there, Thabisa Goba, on the Phala Phala burglary. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Experience extraordinary with the new iPhone 17, 256 gig from Vodacom, Zanzi's winning 5G network. More delightful, more durable, and now available. Get yours on a 3 gig Red Core plan from $899 per month over 36 months, plus a free extended warranty. Be the first to get it today. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
No one will ever understand just how much your car means to you. The way Bumblebee carried you through road trips, or how Ruby Gold has been there for every big moment. This Name Your Car Day 2 October. 702 is teaming up with Stellantis, the global automotive powerhouse behind brands like Citroën, Alfa Romeo, Peugeot, Opel, Jeep and Fiat, to give you a chance to win your share of 20,000 Rand. 20,000 Rand. All day on 702. WhatsApp a voice note of your car's name, the story behind it, plus your name and ID number to 072 702 1702. We could call you all day with 5,000 Rand to celebrate your bond. Thanks to Stellantis on 702. TCs and more on primemediaplus.com.
Walking this talk together.
Every hour.
Every day. This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Hi, good day, 702. You know, I'm very much happy that Malema is been found guilty. Julius Malema think he can fool us. Think we are stupid because we saw that was not a toy. It was a real gun, and he knows it was a real gun. But But now he is busy playing a race card because I'm black, they are white, because I'm black, they are white. Let's leave the race aside. You used a real gun, Mr. Julius Malema. That was not a toy.
He certainly had lots of people watching that. We were just talking a little bit earlier about how that's taken so long and compared to the Jocelyn Smith case, which was wrapped up in months. You just wonder if politics are at play. I mean, Kingsley says, how's it that Advocate Matau withdraws from the commission shortly after it gets underway? He was just saying he doesn't want to fall into conspiracy theories, but they certainly are swirling around. Malanga Commission of Inquiry just being one of them. Oren Singh is sitting with me in the studio. Before we get into those allegations and wondering what's been happening as far as the inquiry is concerned in Tetto. Let's first talk about what happened today. It's been delayed. Why?
Well, essentially, we heard, Jane, this afternoon, or this morning, that Dumisani Khumalo, the crime intelligence boss that has been testifying since Monday, was not feeling well. We understand that he had been at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria this morning. He was consulting with the evidence leaders and speaking to them. But then shortly after 9 a.m., he declared that he's not feeling the best and he decided to leave. The commission chair, Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga, then came out at 9:30 when they expected to start and informed the public that, look, he's not feeling well, he's left, and they are adjourning until further notice.
Have you heard any more about the inquiry reaching out to the French ambassador, Natim Tetto, to appear as a witness before the commission?
They would not be drawn to comment on that. We spoke to Jeremy Michaels, as a commission spokesperson, this morning. He said, look, as far as things go regarding Natim Tetto, we're going to offer our condolences to the family, but we're not going to comment on that. We were trying to understand, had the commission reached out to him, you'd recall that 2 weeks ago, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi dropped the name of Natim Tetto, kind of going back to the time when he was police minister in 2011 and how he had allegedly interfered in that decision to not criminally prosecute the former head of crime intelligence, Richard Mdluli. Mkhwanazi saying that he was gunning after Mdluli, trying to get him criminally prosecuted in a court of law, and that he was talking to the Inspector General of Intelligence at that stage, Advocate Faith Hadebe. But at the end of the day, he was called into a meeting between Mtetwa and Faith Hadebe, and Mtetwa had told him that, look, drop this case against Mdluli. I don't want to hear of you going after him either departmentally for an internal hearing or criminally in a court of law.
Okay, so waiting to hear about that, and obviously we're waiting to hear what actually happened to him. If anybody who's listening missed it yesterday, we found out that the ambassador was found next to his hotel, and nobody really knows what happens other than he possibly fell to his death. All right, so there's a pause today. We don't know how long that's going to go on for, but I mean, it came at quite a dramatic time. We heard big names dropping. It seems to be getting more dangerous for Mkhunu himself.
Definitely. I think, Mkhunu's name has featured quite a bit in this commission since it started 2 weeks ago, and we're obviously waiting in bated breath to hear what he has to say when he comes to testify, but also that of the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sabir. I think both of them will come with tremendous amount of files to present before the commission as evidence. But Dumisani Khumalo yesterday concentrating on a thread of WhatsApp messages between Brown Mokhotsi, this Northwest businessman, and Vusimusi Kat Matlala, who, of course, everyone knows the name of Vusimusi Kat Matlala. But we were expecting for him to wrap up that sort of WhatsApp thread between those two and move on to some more messages between Kat Matlala and some other high-profile official or figures within SAPS or the criminal justice system at large. But we'll just have to wait and see when that's going to kick off again, Jane, because for now, we don't know when his testimony will resume.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Oren Singh.
Because this journey is better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
So the U.S. government has shut down after Congress failed to pass a budget, deadlocked over spending cuts, border security and aid to Ukraine. And all of this comes just as a trade lifeline between South Africa and the U.S. AGOA has expired. Now, for years, AGOA has allowed our exports from cars to citrus to textiles to enter the American market tariff-free. But now with no renewal in place, that safety net is gone. Let's talk to Neil Diamond, president of SACUSA, on this, about what it is that you feel is going to happen. And what sort of impact is this likely to have? Firstly, the expiration of the AGOA treaty.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, SACUSA expresses grave concern as the African Growth and Opportunity Act expired yesterday, with no definitive timeframes from Congress on its renewal, and even more importantly, whether South Africa will be re-included in the renewal. The White House has publicly stated support for a one-year extension of the U.S.-Africa Trade Initiative, but as you rightfully noted, Congress was unable to reach a conclusion on the funding of the U.S. government. Currently, the U.S. government is unfunded as of 0 hours this morning, which basically means that this AGOA renewal is not a focus for the U.S. Congress.
No.
There's also no new U.S.-South Africa trade agreement in place, leaving our exporters and investors exposed. SACUSA warns that South African goods may now face escalating tariff rates, eroding competitiveness in these critical sectors, such as the automotive parts industry, agriculture, textiles, and specialty manufacturing. I think, meanwhile, the continent-wide forecast highlights a serious employment threat. Thousands of jobs across Africa could be lost with the lapse of AGOA. In South Africa, auto exports alone are projected to decline by as much as 20 to 23% under the new tariff regimes by 2029, which has the potential of job losses exceeding 100,000. We need to also see this in the broader U.S.-South Africa relationship on Capitol Hill in the United States. Compounding the uncertainty is Congress actively considering legislation that could reshape the future of the U.S.-South Africa relations. The U.S.-South Africa Bilateral Relations Review Act of 2025, and this is House Bill 2633 and Senate Companion Bill as S2752, is moving through both chambers of Congress at this time. Key provisions of this is mandating the U.S. President, the Secretary of State, and the U.S. Trade Representative to conduct a full review of U.S.-South Africa relations within 120 days of enactment. And Congress's very influential Foreign Affairs Committee has already approved the bill by a 34-16 vote, signaling bipartisan concern and advancing the measure towards a full House vote. So as SACUSA, we have got grave concerns at this stage.
Let me ask you, and briefly, if you don't mind, I mean, if this renewal drags on, I mean, it just couldn't possibly come at a worse time for us. What are the contingency plans for exporters and investors?
So I am currently in South Africa with a delegation from SACUSA so that we can engage with our exporters and manufacturers and industry leaders, stakeholders, to evaluate the immediate fallout and to develop exactly those contingency strategies. We remain in constant dialogue with the US and with South African trade stakeholders, and we are urging both governments to act swiftly to clarify this impasse that we are sitting at the moment. But manufacturers will have to look at alternative avenues. We are seeing orders that are drying up from the United States and South African products that are becoming less competitive, especially if we look at South African wines. We are definitely seeing a decline in the export of South African agricultural goods, including wine, to the United States. And this is going to be difficult to fix. There's no short-term immediate solution. We were hoping that the visit of Minister Park Stow and his meetings with U.S. Trade Representative Jamie Greer would have provided some way forward for us, but there is no concrete agreement that is currently taking shape between the U.S. and South Africa.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Neil Diamond, President of the South African Chamber of Commerce in the USA. It's 12:30, time for the news headlines.
Thanks, Jane. Good afternoon. EFF leader Julius Malema has announced his intention to appeal a court ruling which found him guilty of discharging a firearm in public. This morning, the East London Magistrates Court convicted Malema under the Firearms Control Act. He was facing charges which include the unlawful possession of a firearm as well as ammunition. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has assured South Africans that crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo is in good spirits and receiving medical attention. Khumalo was meant to appear before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry this morning to continue his testimony, but he left the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria just after 9 o'clock after he started feeling unwell. And there has been another report of taxi-related violence in Cape Town, with a taxi driver shot and killed in Valhalla Park. The shooting happened just after 5 o'clock this morning. 3 women who were inside the vehicle at the time were taken to a nearby hospital for medical care. Those are the headlines this EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Tolagile Mganga. We started the World Cup where Australia women are batting in their game against New Zealand, and the latest from their innings sees them on 99 for the loss of 2 in the 15th over. At the crease is Beth Mooney on 7 alongside Elise Perry on 27. At the same time, India recovered from a middle order collapse to beat Sri Lanka by 59 runs. That's in the opening match of the Women's World Cup. Over to the Betway Premiership, where Orlando Pirates have now won 5 games in a row following a 2-0 victory over TS Galaxy last night. Tonight's only clash will see Kaizer Chiefs hosting Amazulu. Interim coach Cedric Kaze has discussed their struggles in front of goal. The Gama boys have not managed to score more than 1 goal in their 9 matches in all competitions.
Situations are different. I would say that previous games, the last pass, the last movement before the last pass was not quite good. But I have to say that today it's the chances were there, the last passes were there. Only thing that we have to do is to keep working, and the good thing is as well going to the next games as well. We got more players, more options as well that are gonna be available.
In the UEFA Champions League, Galatasaray were 1-0 winners over Liverpool. Chelsea edged out Benfica, while Kylian Mbappe hits a hat-trick for Real Madrid. In selected games taking place tonight, Monaco hosts Manchester City, Borussia Dortmund are up against Athletic Club, while PSG clash with Barcelona. And Yannick Sinner won the 21st title of his career. That's after thrashing Lerner Tien 6-2 and 6-2 in the China Open final. Tola Gelemganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving Alex heading towards Midrand, there's slow-moving traffic. That's in the Calvin area, N3 northbound between Marlborough Drive and the Patloo interchange. Also traveling through the Kempton Park CBD. Slow-moving traffic. This is on Pretoria Road between CR Swart and Plain Road. There's also roadworks causing heavy delays heading into El Dorado Park. That's in the Devland area on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, while in the Mother City, Robert Sobukwe remains closed off to traffic. That's approaching King Air Boulevard, heading towards the N2 due to an earlier police incident. And also there's a slow-moving traffic heading into Chapman's Peak. This is due to vegetarian clearing in the Cape Town area, so avoid that route if you can. And there's also slow-moving traffic on Philip Hosana Drive. This is heading towards Hospital Bend due to roadworks. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1072.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic. It's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Life can sometimes throw dumb inconveniences your way. Just listen.
My toddler had a meltdown at 11 p.m. because we didn't have any yogurt.
At least baby quart doesn't exist. Yet.
I saved some snacks. Next thing, gone. And it's 9 p.m.
Fire your entire household, Jabu.
I went to shower and there was no soap left.
That's awkward. Don't allow life to inconvenience you. Come around to NJET. We're open 24/7. Quick Shop & Co. at your convenience. NJET, with us, you are number one.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. Catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters. And with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small business focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
Walking this talk together.
Every hour.
Every day. This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Very good afternoon, Jane. Jane, look, on the issue of the Malema being found guilty on the issue of discharging a firearm in public place. Of course, the judgment, well, for me, it brings some questionable issues, because one will want to ask, if I am trained as somebody who will handle a firearm, what is my responsibility? If someone takes my firearm, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Must I go and report, or it boils down to the person who took their firearm? Because it can be. If I'm trained to handle a firearm, someone takes it from me, I must report it. But that wasn't the case. Then the question is, why was the person who has been trained to handle a firearm is acquitted on all charges? Moshe Rebak.
As far as politics is concerned, more especially for Julius Malema, yes, I think Julius Malema must learn to respect the Constitution of South Africa and to respect the people of South Africa. So, in discourse, as a political discourse, that is the right thing. To see the politician going to jail. My name is Les.
Yeah, we must all respect the Constitution. We were actually talking about that in the office a little bit earlier about, if your boss takes your gun away from you, but you're responsible for that gun, I mean, are you going to say, excuse me, boss, you can't do that? And then have a tussle between the two in front of a whole lot of people trying to take the gun away. So, yeah, very good comments there. Thank you for those. Keep them coming. I'm Jane Dutton. The number, don't forget, 072-702-1702. And Vivian, you asked this at a good time. You say, does anyone know what happened to the tiger, the purported Zama Zama kingpin who disappeared from police custody, Noni? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on with Makoa. Responding to the South African Human Rights Commission about their findings into the artisanal mining crisis, the Zama Zama mining crisis, particularly focusing on Stilfontein and the Operation Vala Umgudu. Remember, there were those standoffs there. People died in the process. So we're going to be finding out more from them on this story a little later on. But I just also want to hear from you if you've been stuck in the horrendous traffic that we see around Cape Town. The city's ranked the 9th most congested in the world on the 2024 INRIX Global Traffic Scorecard. Our reporter on that is probably speaking to us from his car because he can't get into the office, is Tutuzelo Nene. And Tutuzelo, tell us more about these findings.
Good afternoon, Jane. So the transport authorities in the Western Cape, with the launch of Transport Month, have been focusing on finding solutions to alleviate traffic congestions, especially on the busy Cape Town roads. And as you have mentioned, that the city is facing a severe traffic congestion crisis, ranking as the 9th most congested city globally and the worst in the country, with drivers having said to be losing an average of 94 hours annually in traffic delays and costing the economy billions of rands. Rapid population growth, increased private vehicle use, and the expansion of the metro area are just some of the factors that have been identified as fueling this crisis. So the transport authority is saying that, firstly, they know that traffic congestion cannot be solved, but it can be managed, by finding credible alternative solutions, like fixing the public transport system and making sure that the rail system it becomes the backbone of, that transport system, and with the minibus taxis and the buses feeding into that, and also, getting the buy-in from private vehicle users to be able to use this public transport. But obviously, there needs to be safety first that needs to be addressed around the public transport, the modes of public transport themselves. So they're saying that if those things can be attended to and those systems are fixed, then there will be some alleviation of pressure on Cape Town's roads.
Okay, Tutuzelo, let's leave it there. You just wondered why it's taken so long to address this problem, which people have been suffering for years.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Let's get back to that story about the Human Rights Commission investigation into what's been going on into artisanal mining, focusing on the Stilfontein crisis and Operation Vala Umgodi. Our guest, Fatima Valley, Programs Director at Makua. That's a civil society group. Very good afternoon to you. I should imagine that you're relieved that finally this investigation has been kicked off and is underway and has some findings. What do you make of it?
Good afternoon. I mean, while we welcome that the Commission has finally moved towards having these hearings, it comes after a year of silence, delays, and retreat from the process, which, it was framed as a risk, and now the process risks becoming a shield for the state rather than a platform for truth and accountability for affected communities. For years, communities in marginalized communities have looked at the Human Rights Commissions to protect their rights. In 2015, national hearings on artisanal mining were held, and in 2018, there were hearings on mining-affected communities and how their rights are violated by the operations of big mining companies. Yet, for more than over 7 years, the Commission has failed to hold the state or mining companies to account for its ongoing abuses of mining-affected communities. Instead of securing redress, the Commission has allowed recommendations to be ignored, abuses to continue, and corporate impunity to deepen. So whilst we welcome the Commission in hope that there is some form of justice and redress, I think there's a lot of pressure and eyes on the Human Rights Commission for this to be more than simply a talk shop, but rather a platform for substantive justice.
Because, a guest asked a little bit, or a listener asked a little bit earlier about what happened to Tiger. I mean, we have police who are often complicit in what's happening. The SA HRC knows so much about what is going on. I mean, so many people have been speaking out, but many voices have been silenced in the lead up to this.
Exactly. I mean, we were reaching out to community members from Stilfontein who were directly involved in the rescue operations, and they were not informed until 2 days ago that the commission was happening in Kuma today. So, one wonders what sort of platform is going to be created, who it's being created for, and why has it taken a year, and why is it being done in such a shoddy way? Surely this is a moment for us as civil society to ask key questions of how did we allow so many lives to be lost, right? And that there is no accountability for that. And the institutions like the Human Rights Commission, which is supposed to protect, civil society and communities, seemingly don't have a lot of teeth or power when it comes down to it.
All right, so the hearings run from today until the 3rd of October. What's going to happen afterwards?
Well, the idea is, as far as we understand, then the Commission will deliberate. It will make recommendations. These recommendations are not binding, similar to the previous commissions that I mentioned earlier. And then hopefully they come up with strong recommendations to both the department as well as looking at how mining and architecture of mining in South Africa, and that, the rest of us, in terms of civil society, will essentially use that report, if the recommendations are strong, to push for amendments to the MPRTA that favor communities and marginalized communities towards benefiting from extractives in South Africa.
Absolutely, because it's something that could certainly work. Tens of thousands of people are affected by this, including the communities that you talk about. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. And Fatima Valley, Programs Director at Makua, thank you very much for talking to us.
Checkers Little Shop is back with 46 new minis. Get one free when you swipe and spend 200 Rand on deals like Twin Saver 2-ply white toilet rolls 24-pack for 159.99 and Clover Butter full cream modified butter spread 500 grams for 79.99. Plus, stand to win a trip to Legoland Dubai. Simply buy any 3 participating products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers. T's and C's apply.
This Mazda doesn't just start. It wakes up. Anticipation. The wheel settles into your hands. Seat and mirrors adjust. You didn't ask. It just knew. Then the 3.3-liter turbo diesel clears its throat. And suddenly, you're flying, weaving through sunlight. Goosebumps on your commute. The feeling will find you in the Mazda CX-60. Wonder awaits.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
Because this journey is better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
Afternoon, Jay. You know, politicians such as Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma, who only respect judiciary when it rules in their favor, are constitutional delinquents. Tabiso from Meadowlands.
Hello, Jane. It's Ray Jobek. Well, my view regarding to the conviction of Julius Malema, I think it's a time now for lawmakers also to face the law that they do make. So as a prominent figure in parliament and a leader of political party, let him face the music. Thank you.
Seems that there's quite a bit of excitement, that there's some movement in some direction in our courts. People like to see justice served. We were talking about the horrendous traffic on the roads in Cape Town. Lindy says she's noticed a growing number of cars hogging to the right, and often that leads to gridlock. Yes, I don't think we the best behaved on our roads in South Africa. Now, I know that you're aware of the story of Minister Nathi Mthethwa. His body was found outside a hotel, very high hotel in Paris. Lots of rumors that he'd fallen or was pushed. I mean, a lot of speculation about what happened to him, but he was found dead outside this hotel. Let's go over to Nhlanhla Mabaso. He's the EWN reporter. He's at the Kwa Mbombambi homestead outside in Mpongeni in northern KZN. That's where his family is from. And Nhlanhla, tell us about what's happening there today.
Well, Jane, the family is currently, outside the family homestead, sitting there. We've seen senior members of the family, Musok Pila Mthethwa, Elias Mthethwa, joined by other mourners from the village who come in to pay their respect here. Not so long ago, we saw two leaders from the Musadala region here in Kwambonambi coming to pay their respect, but also indicating that more senior leaders of the party will be coming here. The family says that one of the things that they are not happy about with this situation is how they found out that their son has passed. His relatives here basically saying that they only found out about this on the news and that there was no formal communication These are some of the things that they say they are not happy about. But mainly they say that for now, all they can say is that the family is making the preparations and they are, of course, welcoming those mourners who've been coming in and out. So that's the movement that we've seen here. In fact, as we speak, we can see some of the mourners are being served, lunch. They're being served refreshments as they come to pay their condolence visit to the family of the country's ambassador to France, Jane.
And I'm sure that they'll be keen to be getting the body. I mean, obviously, investigations have got to take place. I should imagine everyone there is also rather concerned about all the speculations about what happened.
Well, indeed, that's one of the family's concerns, but they did indicate that they will not be entertaining any of that. For now, they say to them, this is not just a story. This, to them, is losing their son. For them, it's a mourning period, quite a hurtful time for one of a person that they've described very caring. In fact, one of the uncles says that despite him working abroad, he every week he would check up on them and how they were doing and how everybody else was in the village, because they are quite a prominent family here, as part of this village is named as Tetto, given the fact that even the tribal authority here is from the Tetto side of the clan, and that's why this support we've seen now of people coming here. But they do say that they want, of course, some answers, but they say the family is here to, meet, to discuss, but also mainly to talk about how he died. But they say for now their main priority is for the family to decide a way forward. And of course, they did mention that they do hope to get some correspondence in as far as how his body will be brought back from France to be buried here in his homestead. Like I've mentioned, those preparations are underway here. We are seeing people cleaning inside and outside the yard. We're here to speak with his brother, who raised concerns earlier on before these ANC leaders got here, because they had made calls to find out if it's okay for them to come. And he seemed very angry, Jane, I must mention, saying that these are the people that he worked with. These are his colleagues in the ANC. Why would they be asking questions as though they do not know where his home is? He says journalists. He made an example with journalists, and that journalists came here on their own, knocked and introduced themselves. But people who knew him also expressed concern that there are a number of mourners coming in and out, yet his movement that he worked for has not provided the family with refreshments to assist with the number of people that are expected. We will be speaking with him later on. So there are some concerns by the relatives and some people from the Tetto family, as I mentioned, but we're yet to see what unfolds throughout the day. But like I've mentioned, Jane, they say for them this was a hurtful time as they lost one of their own.
Absolutely. Horrible losing one of your own, and all of the speculation, as you say, that sort of confusion within some of his, surrounding some of his ANC colleagues, and obviously our thoughts with the family and friends. And Nhlanhla Mabaso, thank you very much for that.
Walking this talk together.
Every hour.
Every day. This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So 2 South Africans are on board the global Sumud Flotilla, which is carrying aid to Palestinians. And we've been speaking to them about the purpose of the journey and their experiences so far. Quite a frightening journey. There have been stories of attacks from drones, which is what happened to the previous flotilla. Our reporter, Carla Peterson, is on this story. Carla, what have you been told?
Good afternoon, Jane. Yes, so we managed to get some audio recordings from a South African citizen on the flotilla. Of course, the flotilla consists of about 50 boats with activists from around the world on board, and they are sailing across the Mediterranean Sea to carry aid to Gaza. The aim, they say, is to open up a humanitarian corridor for aid to the people of Gaza. They're saying that Gaza has been under blockade by Israel since 2007 and have been starved of international access to food and other vital resources. As of today, they're saying the flotilla is about 120 nautical miles from Gaza and is expected to reach the coast in the next 2 to 3 days. Now, like I said, we received some audio comment from a social impact and humanitarian leader, Dr. Zahira Sumar, who is a South African citizen. And from aboard the flotilla, she shared with us some of her experiences so far.
It is exactly 1 month since I left my home
and flew to Tunis, which is where I boarded the flotilla 15 days ago. My experience has been intense, it's been difficult, rough, it's been good from a solidarity perspective, but it's been anything but easy. 15 days ago I set sail from Tunis, and even though we had very intense training in Tunis, I can say that nothing quite prepared me for what I did embark on in this journey. The 15 days at sea have been very intense, very rough. I've had to do things completely out of my comfort zone. There is no comfort zone. I've had to learn skill sets that I've never had before. I've had to steer a motorboat. I've had to sail a sailboat. I've learned to help fix engines. I've learned to anchor anchors in the middle of the night. I've been doing drone watch for the past week, every single night, learning to spot different drones.
It's quite fascinating finding out what's happening, first-hand experience of being on one of those flotillas, taking humanitarian aid to Gaza and putting their lives in danger. Carlo Peterson with that update. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The motor racing event Cape Town has been waiting for is finally here. Get ready for the Speed Classic Cape Town. Over 140 historic cars, race cars and supercars will compete in a full throttle showcase of motion, sound and style. Experience the ultimate speed test as the legends of yesterday meet the icons of tomorrow. The Speed Classic Cape Town takes place on Philip Khosana Drive on October 25th and 26th. Get your tickets at WebTickets today.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Because this journey is better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
Hi, Jane. After listening to the guy from the Chamber of Commerce, it didn't sound like they have a contingency plan, which means they can blame politics, but they need also to take responsibility for a lack of a contingency plan, because you need to consider what if scenarios when you're doing your planning process. So for me, the Chamber of Commerce need to take responsibility. David.
Yeah, we certainly hope somebody takes responsibility. I mean, it's an interesting time for our economy with the AGOA, the shutdown in the United States, and all the drama on the political and security front. I'm Jane Dutton. It's been good being with you. 1 o'clock, time for the news. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking.
This is EWN.
Julius Malema to appeal the firearms guilty verdict, and crime intelligence boss receiving medical care. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. EFF leader Julius Malema has announced his intention to appeal